People with intact cognitions oftentimes try to free ourselves from the limitation of having to draw this thing that looks like that, you know? And when you are free from that, you can then break into the abstract world more directly. So when the ability to express is impaired, they think the content is gone. And that's where the violation of human rights come in, because the human is still there. It's just that they are locked behind the disease. It doesn't mean that there isn't somebody in there that's trying to express. And so art is a sort of channel. When logical thinking and verbal expression is impaired, art is still there for them to express. OMA is an intergenerational art program for people with dementia based at Scripps Gerontology Center. We put people with dementia one-on-one with Miami students. The students then facilitate the creative process of the elders so that the elders can express themselves in creating art on their own.
What was your guys' motivation for starting Scripps AVID here at Miami?
It was the pandemic, basically. And when we saw that our virtual OMA classes were going well, we thought, how can we get this to more people? Connecting, beyond the people beyond the classes. So that's when we thought, well, maybe we should just have developed something that everybody can use.
Since 2007, OMA, Opening Minds Through Art, has provided community members, Miami students, and people with dementia the opportunity to collaborate over shared interests and build relationships. One of the most important benefits of the program was that it helped all generations to fight loneliness and create a safe space for people to express themselves. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit, operations were forced to a halt. With a full year of quarantining and social distancing, individuals experienced more loneliness than ever before. As many of the program's members were at a high risk, there was no way for them to host their program safely in person during the pandemic. OMA needed a way to make their program available to users remotely, so Dr. Elizabeth Loken reached out to the computer science department at Miami.
We have the content knowledge, but because you don't know the computer science language to describe it, it's a little bit difficult to articulate what it is that we want.
On our team of 5 here, we have a fairly wide variety of skills that we were able to use collaboratively. And first in those set of skills, we have Nick and RJ, who have a strong foundation in database and backend development. And with their strong skills in that field, they became sort of the backbone of our project. And next, we have Tyler, who has a solid understanding of networking and web programming, and with those skills, he was able to integrate and implement our video conferencing software that we're using for the AVID project. And then you have myself and Katie, who mostly worked in the front-end side of things with our strong skills in front-end development and experiences with front-end and web development. And that's how we were able to get this site running. Of course, completing all of this completely virtually and online was an incredible challenge. And while this did prove to be a great challenge, we were able to overcome that through the use of things like the agile development methodology, version control systems, and most importantly, constant communication.
I think the communication process is excellent. I think you all have good communication amongst yourselves. And then when every time we meet, you have an agenda, and then we always cover the agenda. Everything is very efficient, clear, and also interpersonally kind of pleasant. We get to know each other.
Our job as the team of developers was to create design diagrams and to develop a prototype web application for OMA to use and to test it with members of the community. They want to apply for grants and have this website professionally built, so our application will be used as a reference and a proof of concept for when they apply.
Eventually, it's going to be a tool that's available free of charge to anyone who enjoy the arts and who want to connect with each other. And the idea of designing it for people living with dementia is so that anyone can use it.
I think a really good thing that Scripps AVID contributes is the general knowledge of older adults and gerontology. A lot of people kind of glaze over. They're like, oh, older adults, they stereotype, they can't use technology. So I think it's really going to break down barriers with ageism and just a lot of thoughts on what people can do.
Over the course of this year, we gathered the requirements for this application, designed the diagrams and wireframes based on the customer's vision, and created a working prototype complete with the ability to store data and host video meetings. So for our technical stack, we used the LAMP technical stack, which stands for Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. For our user stories, we used Stories on Board. For our customer journey, we used Miro. And for all of our technical schema, we used Draw.io. And with our iterative development shown in the figure at the top of this slide, we were able to constantly create new features while also refining and redesigning some of the older pages based on the functional requirements and based on feedback.
Our application begins with the homepage. We wanted the design of the site to be friendly yet relaxing. And on this page you'll find the navigation bar up at the top, some photos and information about OMA along the way, as well as buttons that take you to the gallery. If you navigate to our login page, you will see where users can sign in. Once a user signs in, they're then able to go to their user page where they can join the meeting. As this is just a prototype, we decided to use dummy users to sign in, so the user pages are not yet personalized. If you click the Go to Meeting button, it'll send you to a new page. This page is split in two. On the right, we have our video conference meeting, and on the left, we have our collaborative art survey. For the video conferencing part of our application, we chose to use Jitsi, which is an open source platform for video chats. We had many options regarding Jitsi implementation, however, Jitsi as a service best fit our needs. Using the free developer tier, we were able to create a working application. However, as this project moves towards production and out of development, we would either have to pay a monthly charge to continue using Jitsi as a service, or we would have to host our own Jitsi server. When they've been connected with their partner, the two can start collaboratively filling out the art survey. What do you want our theme to be? What do you think? This survey asks questions about what themes, tools, and medium they want to use to help direct their art. Users can then chat with one another in Bond as they work on their art pieces.
I'm teaching myself how to crochet.
Ooh, that's fun. My mom was really into crocheting and she taught me how to do it one time. And at the end of the meeting, the two can share the art they've created with one another. This was going to be a squirrel, but I kind of messed him up, so I turned him into a bird.
Like geometric flowers.
Whoa! And after the meeting is over, users have the option to submit art they've created to the community gallery. Uploading their art takes them directly to the community sharing page, where they can see their art alongside all of the other art that's been created.
Once we had a working product, it was now time to begin testing. So we tested our webpage with two elderly individuals, giving them each instructions ahead of time and seeing where they might get stuck. There were some difficulties at first.
Uh-oh, went something wrong.
File. Okay, so I got an invalid usage of upload file here.
But eventually they both got into the video conference and began to collaborate with Lika on the other side.
You hear me?
Yes. Hi, Bob.
Hi.
That was quick. Good to see you. What do you like to try?
How about animals?
Okay.
I would take nature.
Nature. Okay. This is what I found. A waterfall.
Oh, waterfall.
Oh, no. So we just hang out and paint together.
Okay.
Okay, there's my waterfall in the hills there. The waterfall in the center and the hills.
After they completed the testing process that we gave them, they provided valuable feedback on how we could improve the website based on their experience.
Yeah, I think the one thing that was confusing to me is after I signed in, typed my name in the box, or when it came up, the screen was split and it said, what theme do you, pick a theme. What am I picking a theme for? Instead of paying attention to what was happening on the right side of the page of entering my name or allowing the camera.
Just go through that paper and then anytime you see a word you don't understand or a sentence that doesn't make sense, mark it with a question mark. Would you use something like this if there's a student on the other end, like regularly? Yeah.
Yes, I would enjoy interacting with the students. So
Well, it was really nice to be able to see our participants use the website and actually go there and click on everything, see what worked, upload an image. I think just seeing it all come to fruition was really it seemed like a good stamp of approval just for all the hard work that you've all put into it, and just all the brainstorming and ideas that Lika and I have contributed.
Our project definition was different than most. Instead of being handed a list of requirements and being told what was expected, we started from fresh. Our clients had an idea of what they wanted to accomplish, but they didn't know how they wanted to get there.
I found that you all were very, very good at listening and translating the inarticulate way of us saying what it is that we want to something that actually is built.
They had previously hired a service to help them gather their ideas and make diagrams, but the deliverables left a lot to be desired. Most of our first semester was spent brainstorming, making mock-ups, gathering requirements, and writing our user stories. Nothing was set in stone, and we had a lot of creative freedom with the design.
Having the complete freedom is something that we've never really had with projects, to just have an idea and work with a client, but then have no technical direction at all. And so I know at the very beginning, we were going through different tech stacks. We were trying to figure out how we wanted to set things up. I know not a lot of us were super comfortable with web development. And so it was a really cool learning process.
This is one of my first big projects. So that was really cool to experience, seeing Bob work the user interface and all that. That was really cool.
So the process, I thought, was very efficient and very enlightening to us.
Like I said, I think it's going to take off, and I can't wait to see where it goes, but it's going to be cool for you to say, hey, I helped build this.